Hello everybody, welcome back to Tsui no Sora Remake. Today we're going to be probably finishing Yasuko's chapter and obviously seeing the most important, well, actually arguably the most important part of the plot and how it all wraps up, and it's going to be really quite exciting to see everything that goes on. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this scene is as well. I mean, this CG is amazing. You just get one of the most evil and disgusting places. Oh, she even has a blanket. That's cool. But yeah, you get one of the most evil and disgusting places, and then you just make it look magical. And the characters as well. I mean, the Yokoyamas, they really fit in this CG. I think it's so funny how similar Kiyoshi looks to Yukito. They really do look like. I mean, obviously their sprites don't make them look similar, but they look similar. I don't know. Their art styles look different, but themselves as people. If it wasn't down to an art style changing how they look, they would look similar. Oh, I don't know. I explained that so horribly, but I hope you get what I mean. Okay, let's just oh yeah, she's talking about Kotomi. Yeah, let's go up. Oh god. What a great first line to read. You're trying to save yourself, let's be honest here. This is all a response to trauma, if you ask me. Isn't that interesting? She thinks that saving her, and obviously making it so that she can go back to Yukito, is something that can be attributed for the word nothing. That's insane. Wow. Yeah, God, I don't blame her for being tired. It really doesn't surprise me. Fucking hell, man. I just think this is so interesting. It is an excuse, unfortunately, yeah. It is, yeah, and it just shows proper. Well, I would say honesty, but it's Yasuko we're talking about, so I can't really say that. Because obviously this love is not the most honest love. I don't think healthy relationships have people doing this to their partners. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's been twisted by you. Yeah, somebody who is only living the world for themselves. God. Yeah, that's really good. Even though she's sleeping on concrete, she was able to get decent sleep. That's hilarious. But yeah, what I find funny about all of this is just the fact that I don't know. I mean, I just think it's really quite funny that these people are so close and they totally understand each other. And Yasuko really understands that she has totally manipulated Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi understands that, obviously, the opposite. But he also understands that Yasuko is a person who has a ridiculous amount of flaws, and yet he accepts her for the person who he truly is, for who she truly is. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I feel like if Kiyoshi wasn't Yasuko's brother, these people would be a perfect match together. But obviously, there are a lot of factors that influence that, i.e. his gender. I mean, obviously, well, no. There's the thing. If Yasuko wasn't traumatized, I bet you these people would, I don't know, maybe have a chance of getting together, but yeah, if she wasn't traumatized, then I wouldn't be making such a big deal about these people understanding each other. And for example, Kiyoshi just so blatantly and honestly saying that she's a complete psychopath. I mean, that's something I've rarely seen in visual novels. Actually, I've never seen it in visual novels, if I'm going to be honest. I don't know why my game window is so low. Hang on a second. Okay, that's a bit weird. Has that affected anything? No, it hasn't. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't. Alright, anyway, let's begin. I love how magical this scene is. I wonder if we're going to get some music with it, or if it's just going to be one without music. I don't know, just reflecting the silence around us. That is, if there are silent conditions. I'm assuming there are, but maybe something will happen. I mean, this is Takuji's gang after all, and it's not July the 20th yet, obviously. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Oh, that's actually really unusual. I remember the day shifted from July the 16th to July the 18th. That's odd. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that you don't feel bad about it whatsoever. It's going to be interesting to see how she's developed and changed after this, because she probably realises how much of a brilliant human being Kotomi is after this. And how ridiculously brave too. Yeah, so amazing that it felt like a dream. Fair. Yeah, God, that's interesting. I just think it's so sick that she's done all of this, and yet at the same time, because she feels it's for something that, well, because it's for, oh, hang on a second, what? Why is there music on and why is it so quiet? Why is my music on such a low volume? What? Sorry, I've got no idea what happened there. I never did that, or at least I never remember doing it. Anyway, this is better. Yeah, but what's really quite interesting about this is she feels happy, and if anything, I feel like nobody has been able. She's always been somebody who's been able to be on top of every social situation and be able to rule people. So I think it must have been a real shock for her to be able to see someone above her, someone being able to guide her. And if anything, ironically, she was always the one who controlled people, and yet at the same time she was always the one who was the most insecure. She just needs somebody to tell her what's right and what's wrong, really, and that's what Kotomi has done as much as she could have possibly. Really. And it's interesting that Kotomi, by all of this, she saw through her psychopathy, let's be honest here, and also ridiculous acts and desire for pleasure, and she just saw the fact that she was crying. And then obviously she latched onto that and tried to improve her as a person for it. Seriously. I mean, let's be honest, something like this, I think it would be very, very, very unlikely to happen in the real world. And good, it should never happen. Yeah. I hate the fact that these voices lower the audio, it's annoying. I know, it's so impressive, it really is. It's never something you would have expected at all. Yeah, totally. Yeah, she was not giving in whatsoever. She really wasn't, and if she had to be submissive in order to do so, so be it. I think she was both. Actually, no. She accepted Yasuko, so she was submissive in order to give in to her pain, let's be honest here. And in order just to let somebody have a means of taking out their pain. And it's interesting that now she can kind of look back on this with retro perspective, and I wonder how the feelings of love are going to change now. I mean, obviously she was very happy, but what's going to happen after this happiness? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, seriously, realize what you have done. It's fucking disgusting. I don't care that Kotomi has reacted well. You have done the most disgusting thing a human being can do to another. That's actually really interesting, so these people will always lie about the fact they probably use that as a means of justification for their actions. That, oh yeah, the other person obviously wanted this to happen. Yeah, fuck off. Not true whatsoever, especially in cases like these. Well, not really in a case like this, but in other cases. Yeah, I like what Kiyoshi's saying. I mean, yeah, you have objectively done this, but she would have accepted her, and that's what... but the only thing is, obviously, Yasuko is selfish. She doesn't... Mere acceptance is not enough if Yukito is the person that Kotomi cares about the most. She wants it to be her, because obviously she doesn't feel love. I will never believe that. It's just a means of letting her trauma be outputted, really. Yeah. And that's the really awful thing. I mean, Yasuko... I feel like all of this is Yasuko... Well, it's kind of hard to say, because I feel like Yasuko is being very, very... She's doing everything for Kotomi, but she's doing everything for Kotomi so that she herself can be pleased. So it's kind of a... It kind of removes the issues that she had before of being a sociopath, but it also intensifies them in a way. Fair. Is she gonna what? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Oh my god. I mean, I suppose obviously all of her actions have led her to doing something that's irredeemable, but is she really thinking of throwing it all away, even after she's been shown this happiness and new way of living by Kotomi? Yeah, seriously. No, I see that. A bit too loud, the music. There we go. Yeah, I suppose.
Mamiya Takuji の後ろに立っているやつが見えるんだよ。後ろ？完全じゃないんだけど、そいつの声も聞こえるんだ。それはお前が連日薬漬けであんなに相手したから見た。
She saw this before she took drugs.
幻覚であって。いや、その前からなんだよ。
Yeah.
Mamiya Takuji と最初に会った時から見えている。さんがあれは人の脳を奪うことで観念の中に住み現実のように振る舞うって言ってた。
Yeah, no. It's honestly not the most unreasonable, and so did Ayana, if anything. I think it's really funny that she trusts Kuen over Ayana in any circumstance. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just so funny. I mean, Kuen is the right-hand man of someone who tried to threaten to kill her. It really is. But then again, I mean, he is a very credible source, so I suppose it makes sense to a certain extent, but still. Well, this theme really is just... It really just feels like something that you would only see in Tsubahibi, and it really gives you just... If you ask me, it gives me an image of... well, like this scene is here, just in the darkness, in the cold. Maybe on a snowy day, if anything. Just... as something that you would associate, and obviously you're inside of a warm fire going on, something you would associate with comfort. Yeah. Yeah, God, it must be so insane for somebody like Kiyoshi. I mean, this is one of Yasuko's most important moments, let's be honest here. I mean, she's obviously weak from everything that's going on with Kotomi. You would have thought that maybe she'd want to die because of what she's done, but no, I mean, she's thinking of dying because of the being that Mamiya Takuji is creating. And hearing her go from someone that is so relatable to somebody who is so... well, to somebody who is talking so strongly about the supernatural, it must be such a weird contrast, if anything. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so brutal. This is the definition of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. Yeah, so I suppose it's as if you're the carrier of a disease. And that properly shows just the extent of how deadly an existence like this is. And if anything, ironically, why does she care about something like this? Especially somebody like Yasuko. I think if anything, it shows that she's undergoing a really quite big change.
な証拠があるのか。そんなのクエンさんが言って
Yeah,
たことだろ。
seriously.
だったらすでにあの人はおかしくなっているし。
クエンさんがおかしくなっているのなら私もおかしくなっているんだよ。
That's the worst thing. The fact that she accepts that so easily.
安子、
脳を食うことによってあれは観念から観念に伝染するウイルスみたいなもんだと思う。
Dude, why? What the fuck happened to my volume, dude?
間宮拓司が死んだら多分今度は私の脳の中で大きくなって周りの人間を感染させると思う。清はそれは可能性に過ぎないって考えるかもだけどさ、実際あんなものを直に見た私からすると
But this is the thing, if anything, it really...
怖いんだよ。
It's just a really quite sick thing. I mean, just because you've been in the wrong place at the wrong time means that... I think, if anything, this personality change and her, ironically, thinking about other people in order to... Well, she's thinking about other people, yet at the same time she's thinking about suiciding. She's suiciding for the sake of other people, if anything. I mean, she's doing it so that her brain... Well, firstly, I suppose that so that she doesn't become a fragment of a human being, if anything, somebody who is so delirious that they can't even do anything. But I suppose it's also so that well, yeah, it's just also so that other people don't have this same thing happen to them. And it's interesting that it sounds so deluded from an outsider perspective, of course, because this is the supernatural, but with Yasuko, it all makes sense, and that's the thing that's scary, the fact that everything is very logical here. And I can fully see what Yasuko's thinking. Yeah, no, I see that. But this is the thing, you're terrified of something, you're scared about it, so you think about it more. You think about it more, you give delusions like, technically delusions, technically reality. It's a technical delusion. But you give it more form, you make it more significant, so the more you... This is quite literally the demonstration, like a real life demonstration of if you worry about something more, you will get worse results. Whenever people say that, this is a very good example of that. The more she worries about this, the more Nyarlathotep related creatures and creatures from Rulier will have a chance to materialise. It's so ridiculous, but it's cool. And that's the first thing you think about. Yeah, it's interesting that. Dude, I mean, okay, you're gonna suicide, but what about him, Kiyoshi, as well? I mean, she really does... Oh, maybe it could be because of the fact that even though Kiyoshi is a very loving brother, he is a man. And it's just so surprising that she prioritizes this person. You do kind of get the impression that she prioritizes Kotomi over Kiyoshi. What about on the 20th though?
自分が実体化するために観念から観念に伝染することにそれほど興味はなさそう。だからあの時に私だけ見えたんだと思う。
Yeah. Yeah, but the only thing is, I suppose you always have to worry about... I suppose your fate is entirely tied to how the fate of this beast changes. Beast. It's Riruru. What am I saying? Or at least that's the thing that she saw, the delusion that she saw, that if she gives more form, it will gain more power and more ability to exist in the world, if anything. Because what actually is the difference between something that exists and something that exists only because of perception? I suppose it's reality and how real an existence is. The thing that's weird is it still exists. Even if it is in somebody's head, it's still something that can be interacted with.
だが、もしその話が本当だとしたら、間宮拓司が言う世界の滅亡も本当かもしれないぞ。
Isn't that funny?
かもしれない。
だったら
今の私には世界の滅亡は止められないけど、私の脳に住む化け物を琴美先輩に感染させないことはできる。
Yeah, that's interesting.
どちらかが本当でどちらか嘘かもしれない。それでも私ができることで琴美先輩が救われるのなら、私はそちらを取る。
安子、
さまさまさ、あの化け物は見ているけど、未だに世界の終わりの予兆すら見えてないんだから、私にとってはそちらは眉唾なんだよ。
This is the worst thing, they're basing their entire future decisions on uncertainty. I mean, to be fair, which decision is based on something that you fully know is going to happen? You can't predict the future, but still, at the same time, I mean, these are very, very big uncertainties, and obviously, they're concerning matters that are above human understanding as well, which doesn't help whatsoever. So obviously, that means that it's even more difficult to tell what will happen. 2 very, very influential days are going to come up.
終わるとは思えない。あと、世界がもし仮に終わるとして、その時に彼女を救えるのはやはり水上由紀人なんだと思う。
あんなやつにそんな能力ないだろ。
違うよ。もしそうなったら、その最後の時に若月琴美さんの横にいてやれるのは。
And isn't it ironic to think about how shit Yukito is as a hero? This isn't even the case. If the world ends on the 20th, which I can't necessarily deny, because of the existence of these Lovecraftian entities. I don't know if it's a delusion or if it's real. I mean, how would it happen to somebody like Yukito if it was a delusion?
お前どこまで献身的なんだよ。お前ばかり損してるじゃねえかよ。
Yeah, totally. And it's really funny that Yasuko has changed so much into somebody who is so selfless that she she even accepts Yukito being with Kotomi. But I just think it's really interesting how I get the impression that she is totally selfless and she's casting aside her wealth because she doesn't think any of herself. I mean, she's literally done you know what with Kotomi. Of course she would not feel she has any self-worth. But yeah. She will throw her life away for anything. It just feels like everything she has done this incident because of has now changed just thanks to Kotomi.
違う。 違う。これは私のエゴだよ。
Interesting that she thinks
どう
that.
なろうと、みんながどうなろうと知ったこっちゃないけど、若月琴美さんが幸せであってほしい。
That's so surprising. I mean, isn't it just ironic to think about the fact that Yasuko is, she's so aware of the fact that she's doing this. She's saying that it's to satisfy her ego, and yet at the same time she's thinking that she wants to help Kotomi and she wants to save her. But it's interesting that she does all of this so that she can feel she's good enough for Kotomi, and that can satisfy her ego, I think.
それで自分を犠牲にしているのなら、そりゃ献身だろうが。
Yeah, totally. But she doesn't care about her life. I mean, we saw in those ridiculous actions where she quite literally broke her finger. Oh, and I don't know, she fucked 30, 60 men. She does not care about herself. She will put herself through torture just for the short term. She doesn't care about the long term at all. But that's the thing, because there is no long term. I think, if I'm going to be honest, she's been somebody who she just properly lives in the moment, and now she doesn't see any other moment she can live, so she's got to end it. It's rough, it really is.
違うよ。私の望みがそんなだけだもん。献身的って言われるとなんかくすぐったい。
Yasuko is a very confusing character because I wouldn't call it selfishness. You could call it selfish. Well, oh my god, I can't talk. You could attribute it to being selfish. There we are, finally. But yeah, the thing is, it's not fully selfish because obviously she wants to save Kotomi. But at the same time, I don't think you can call it fully selfless either, because obviously she's doing this all for Kotomi's sake, but in the end she's kind of doing it for her own sake, because I suppose, if anything, this delusion of love from Kotomi, she still has the love, if you ask me. Even if Yukito's there, it's just she's accepted that she is somebody who won't be as good as Yukito. And I suppose she's doing it for herself, to just reassure her of the fact that, I don't know, this love has counted for something. And that she hasn't totally ruined her love in the process of doing you-know-what to her as well, I suppose. It is interesting that. I mean, I get that Kotomi was ridiculously strong, but she hasn't really been thinking about just the scars that she could have caused to Kotomi. But yeah, I suppose to her there's more important things to think about.
私が彼女の幸福を願うのは私のエゴなんだ。
She's so self-aware, and that's why it's sick.
世界が滅ぼうがなんだっていいんだからさ。あの人はその最後の時まで幸せであってほしい。
I just think it's really funny to think about how Yasuko's feelings for Kotomi compared to Kotomi's. I mean, you have somebody who was the most passionate in the world and who would quite literally die for you, do all of the other things that she did for her. And yet Kotomi, I mean, her feelings are reciprocated so little that she prefers Yukito over Yasuko. But at the same time, I mean, it's just interesting how that then links to, well, I mean, beforehand we saw her totally trying to get Kotomi for herself, but now we see acceptance. I just love this acceptance. It's such a confusing character dynamic, because normally when you see people that are really deluded like this, they will die thinking their delusion. But it's interesting that she's changed thinking her delusion, but because of her awful views for love and satisfying her own ego, she has dirtied herself to ways unimaginable. And when I say this, I mean not only mentally and spiritually, but I mean physically as well. Yeah. She fucked a lot of people, basically.
お前さ、
Wow.
それ違うよ。
Yeah, and that's really impressive for somebody like Kiyoshi. I mean, it's interesting that even Kiyoshi's character has been changed, but then again, I mean, he's been somebody who really hasn't had much of a moral. He hasn't really had much of a care, to be honest. He's always let Yasuko lead what he's going to do, but that's wrong. That really is, and he's not letting that happen anymore because he truly loves Yasuko, even if Yasuko has done so many things that are insanely awful. Okay, I mean, she's done insanely awful things, but they both reflect and they both understand it, and if you like, their father died and their life changed, and obviously Kiyoshi's life wouldn't have had any potential it has had if it wasn't for Yasuko, so yeah. It's a bit he says, a bit complicated.
違わないよ。愛ってそういうもんなんだよ。愛は最
Yeah,
高の
reasonable, yeah.
最高の自分勝手な思いだからこそ愛には価値があるんだよ。
That's interesting. I mean, I really do wonder. It's just always the question of, if you're doing an action of kindness for somebody else, are you doing it because you care about the welfare of that other person? Or are you doing it because you care about the welfare that the happiness of that other person gives to yourself? I've seen this question in a Higurashi chapter before, actually. Reminds me of that.
私は彼女に幸福を押し付けている。けど、
Yeah.
それこそが私の幸福なんだよ。
Yeah, and I suppose when you say happiness, that could be taken literally. I mean, she is forcing her to do something that two couples do when they are very happy with their relationship, i.e. sex, but obviously that's not what she wants, so yeah, it's sick. Yeah, and just the fact that that makes her happy as well.
愛っていうのはそういうもんだな。
バカ野郎。
Oh god. Yeah, and this is the worst thing. I think Kiyoshi, he thinks that, yeah, like, thinks that what she is saying is totally wrong, but how do you say anything against it? But also at the same time, I mean, this is the most sad thing about this. I mean, he can't argue. She's too confident.
何泣いてるんだよ。
Well, for her, and it's interesting that she places so little value in herself as well.
泣くことに理由なんてあるかよ。
Yeah, fair.
悔しいのかもしれない。悲しいのかもしれない。けど嬉しいのかもしれない。安子がそんなに誰かを愛することができた
Oh,
ら。
I know. Yeah, that's a good point.
けどさ。
So awful, I mean. It's just so sad to think about the fact that her life being so shit, and especially her childhood, it's meant that love can never be something that is experienced normally and has to... And she does say some reasonable things like it being ego, but at the same time it can never be experienced normally, and it has to be... Things as bad as these have to happen in order for her to do it. But then again, I mean, she always had the trait of a psychopath, so it does make sense. But it's just sad that she had said trait, and that she needed said trait for her to be able to function and cope in the awful world that she lived in.
それで、これが最後のお願い。
なんだ。
あんたはここから逃げなさい。
Yeah, reasonable.
なぜだ。なんで俺が逃げてお前がここに残る。
I find it very interesting that what the Lovecraftian related stuff does is it provides an explanation for her suiciding. But it's something that objectively exists, I won't deny, but obviously that's just a mask for how much pain she has. And I think she's in so much pain that she would actually want to do this. I mean, look at her feelings towards Kotomi, for example. And look at how they've developed, if anything. It's just funny that she's gone from somebody who totally cares about herself to somebody who totally cares about herself, but uses herself and her own ego, but uses other people as a means of gaining said ego. So it's as if she's selfish, but in reality she isn't the most selfish. Sorry, selfless, I meant to say. Yeah.
世界が終わろうとも終わらなくともちゃんと私が望んだようにしてよ。あの人が最後まで笑えるように。
俺に何ができるって言うんだよ。俺なんかお前の指示がなきゃ何もできない人間だ。
それは嘘だよ。清は本当は昔から私の命令なんて聞かない。
Yeah, so I suppose he's gone dependent. It does make sense though, yeah.
妹である私を心配してくれて、私の無茶に付き合ってくれた。
そうじゃなくて、俺はただ。
清こそ嘘が下手なんだから、無駄な弁明はやめなよ。私を妹としてちゃんと今日まで守ってくれてありがとう。そんな妹からの最後の命令、あなたは生きてここから出なさい。
Yeah, no, totally. He can't imagine life without the person that he has been closest to the most. I don't blame him at all. And it's just so horrible to think about the fact that, I mean, even if she was feeling okay. Well, no. I think if she wasn't insecure, she wouldn't have... Well, no, even if she wasn't insecure, I'm sure a delusion like the Lovecraftian one can manifest in her head. No matter what happens, she's fated to die. Because I suppose if she's not... Even if she wasn't really distressed... Well, I'm sorry, but if she wasn't distressed, she wouldn't be following up Takuji. Let's be honest, she would not be in a gang. She would just be the normal person that she presented herself to be with Kotomi. Yeah, I like this. There's something I'm trying to find just at the top. Yeah. I find it interesting that the only time Yasuko can honestly show her feelings is when she's with her brother. No, because the thing is, she did genuinely accept her and understand the causes of her pain. Well, she didn't understand why she was hurting, but she did understand that she was hurting. It doesn't even matter about the cause in a situation like that, it just matters that she is. Yeah. So it's interesting here, I mean, who you're really doing it for. No, but I suppose it's interesting with yeah, Bear the Seal, I like that. Yeah, but it's interesting. I do wonder who Kiyoshi is saying that who Yasuko is really doing this for. I mean, obviously Yasuko. We would have thought, is she truly doing this for Kotomi's sake? No, she's doing it for her own, but is that so? Yeah, that insecurity about never being accepted as well. But it's interesting that that insecurity has led to acceptance. And if anything, I think it's horrible to say, but this has been a proper emotional journey for Yasuko. She has done the most disgusting crime in the world, and she's, let's be honest, had the best possible outcome. Higurashi spoilers, but it's like when Rena, for example, improves as a person after dismembering 2 people because of how powerful the people around her are. And obviously, like Yasuko, she will completely get away with she completely got away with the crime. And she was actually never discovered to have killed them. God. And it's really interesting to think about the fact that Yasuko feels as if Kiyoshi... Look at his swimming, for example. He's one of the best swimmers. He's one of the best swimmers in his school. And he's able to get a scholarship on his swimming. And that's something he's done himself. But he's just lied to himself to think that he's totally somebody who is unable to be independent and is always dependent on his sister because he's so worried about her. But it's reasonable that he would be worried about her. It really is. Yeah, he couldn't imagine life without Yasuko. Yeah. And that's just the most awful. I mean, yeah. It's just so cruel that Yasuko can't live as well, but that's what happens when somebody... Let's be honest, Yasuko is just an incredibly damaged person. She doesn't deserve any of this. That's so cool, yeah. This is love, of course. This is the only... Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and it's just... Then again, I mean, look at her with Kotomi. And it's also interesting that the dominant, sure, violent, of course, and selfish, yeah, definitely. That all applies to Kiyoshi as well. And it's just really quite funny to think that you have two other elements of... You have two alternate views. She has two opposing means of having love. She has one that's totally unhealthy and just there to make up for her insecurities, but she also has one that, I mean, sure, she was very, very violent. No, she's always been very violent to Kiyoshi, but at the same time, they have such a ridiculously genuine bond. It's so surprising, but it's true. I mean, she's always been with Kiyoshi. Obviously, not her parents, but yeah, Kiyoshi has done so, I think. It's really well put, this. I love it. Yeah, totally, yeah. People often call love a drug for obvious reasons. Shit, what's that sound? 4? What does it mark?
19日になったね。
Yasuko!
Oh my god, yeah, do that. Jesus Christ, man, this might be the final time you can.
もう死なせてくれ。
Yeah.
お前と一緒じゃなきゃ。
Yeah, and it's just, no matter how many unacceptable and ridiculous things have happened in their relationship, they still maintain a bond. And this is what happens when it's threatened.
罪悪感まだあるんでしょ。
Totally, yeah.
まだ罪悪感があるのならば私の命令を聞きなさい。そしてこれは呪いの言葉だと思って受け取りなさい。愛は呪われているからこそ祝福に値する。
Oh my god, that's sick. No, I can see that though, yeah. Yeah, it's as if it's something that... Oh yeah, it makes sense when you think about their love, but... If you think about this, I mean, Yasuko is spending her final moments with Kiyoshi. And it's a curse about the fact that she's going to die, but it's a blessing for all of the ways Kiyoshi's life has changed as a result of her. Oh god. I know. Oh, we shouldn't. No way. Yeah. Jesus Christ, you've been living with this person all your fucking life. How could you ever not feel like this? And it's so cruel. It's just so cruel and so unfair as well. I mean, he's had enough of a hard time. He doesn't deserve this at all. He really... I mean, these people, they have lived such unimaginably awful lives. And Kiyoshi, despite that, he's going to live on and beat all of that. Even if the person guiding him through it all wasn't there. Oh my god. This reminds me of the Cyrano line. I forgot what the exact wording was. Please remember how to type, thank you. Oh my god! Take it and change find love words into true. That's interesting. I suppose then again, I mean, words like these, the fact that love is a curse, the fact that... Well, that's interesting. It's a curse, but because of that, it's something that deserves to be blessed. But why would it be false? These are the most true words that they're saying to, yeah. But then again, I mean, I suppose it kind of relates in a way because... Oh shit, my audio is way too loud. Yeah, God. I need to turn that down a bit. Yeah, but I suppose it kind of has the same premise. I mean, you take something from someone else and you change something to another extreme. And I suppose you take the curse and you convert it to a blessing, and that's how you experience it. Yeah, go to being independent and someone who can live by himself, I suppose. But it's just so cruel that he has to do this. It's not fair on him. I remember this line as well from Tsubahibi. I can't remember where, but I've read this before. Yeah. But then again, I mean, it totally makes sense, because if you don't have anything to pray for, why is it the case that life has given you any opportunities for things to be hopeful for? Why is there any meaning if you don't have anything to be hopeful for? Even in the most tragic circumstances, there could possibly be hope, but if there's no hope, then what's it? But that's interesting. If anything, the meaning of life entirely depends on just how much an individual appreciates said meaning, if anything. Oh my god, what's happening now? Here we go. No sound. Oh shit, this is gonna be fun. What a beautiful scene. I just think it's so sad that Kiyoshi is going to lose Yasuko. It's a beautiful scene as well, and I really think it took all of the contradictory feelings that they had, and obviously, sorry, I just thought of another really interesting thing. When you look at the love between Kiyoshi and Kotomi, and obviously, so Kiyoshi and Kotomi, sorry, Yasuko and Kotomi, and then Yasuko and Kiyoshi, and then you compare them. It's just really quite interesting to think about the fact that one love, they are totally contradictory, but they have the same significance to Yasuko. One love has totally changed her for the better. Because let's be honest, without Yasuko's love with Kiyoshi, also, oh, it's the wind. Okay. Without Yasuko's love for Kiyoshi, she would still, well, I don't know what she'd be still doing, but she would have been abused still. And obviously, she wouldn't have been able to live with her brother. And obviously, and connect in times of trouble, really. It's just really quite tricky, because a lot of their bond was partly genuine love, but part of it was also total manipulation and being used in order to achieve things that you like and want to do. But then again, it's kind of like the idea of the fact that love is a curse and a blessing, because once you get through the curse, you can use that as a means of understanding each other more, if anything. But at the same time, it's bad that it happened in the first place, so it is weird. Anyway, this is going to be fun. Poor Kiyoshi though, fucking hell. I feel really quite bad for him. It's so cruel.
いいえ、信者が一人残ってますよ。
Oh my god.
Yokoyama Yasuko 逃げたと思っていたよ。
Interesting that we have this theme. Takuji would have suicided if it wasn't for Yasuko here. Okay, yeah, my volume's fine. Right. This is going to be really exciting to see what she does.
なぜですか？
君は最後まで僕のことを信じていなかった。
He always saw through her. Interesting.
形をしていようと、君はそれでも僕の言葉を信じていなかった。
I mean, yeah, sure, that is totally the case. I agree. But the only thing that's really interesting about that is Takuji has been able to so blatantly see through Yasuko, so just how much does he know and how much has he thought about her personality?
なぜそんなやつを最後まで置いたのですか？
救世主には一人の裏切り者が必要なんだよ。その役が君だったということさ。
ああ、ユダとかいう人ですね。知ってます。横山やす子はユダというわけですか。でもあれって銀貨とかもらってませんでしたっけ？私は何ももらえてませんけど。
銀貨は若月琴美だよ。君
Oh, yeah, I
喉から
suppose.
手が出るくらい欲しかったもの。
Jesus. Yeah, quite literally, yeah. I agree.
ヨハネによる福音書に書かれているイエス。
What did she just
最
say?
初から裏切り者が誰であるかを知っていたではないか。
Can't really hear what she's. I can't really make out what she's saying.
イエスにできて僕にできないわけがない。
訂正しろ。
訂正？
She's actually going to challenge Takuji. Isn't it funny that it really depends on how much you believe in what Takuji's saying to think about how threatening he is. And Yasuko is a very intelligent person and she will let nobody control her. She will never. Even if it's somebody as convincing as Takuji. Even though there are supernatural entities that... Well, the supernatural entities can clearly be explained though, so I think that's why.
琴美先輩は銀貨みたいな安っぽいもんじゃない。
なんだそれ。そっちなの？
そうですよ。そっちですよ。それ以外はあんたなんかに全く興味はない。
Isn't that funny? You know, he definitely doesn't care about the biblical analogy. But yeah, of course. It's interesting that he really is making him sound like Jesus here. And that's more... He's doing it more here than he did in Tsubaki B. But you need a lone disciple to betray you so that when you die you have more people that believe in you afterwards, I suppose. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Just making himself sound so much more significant and clever and, I don't know, I suppose intellectual than he actually is.
白い人間だったんだね。
No, I totally agree. And what I find interesting about Yasuko here is just she doesn't care about anything that's going on outside of her world and her thoughts. She doesn't care about the fact that Takuji has killed so many people. She really, really doesn't.
だから訂正しろって言ってるだろ。
God. She is somebody who is properly scary when mad. But yeah, it makes sense, and it's just interesting that, if anything, ironically, I feel like Yasuko is she's got the yandere personality, but the only thing is she doesn't kill people. That's the only thing she's missing. God.
若月琴美は銀貨ではないよ。
Or is this?
君にとって大切な宝物だったんだろう。
Or is this too little as well? But it's a good way of analysing it, because I agree. Obviously, a piece of silver is the same as a treasure in that time period, I suppose.
これでいいかい？
そうですね。それだけ訂正していただければ、あなたにもう用はありません。
Damn! She really, really doesn't give a fuck about Takuji. But then again, I mean, Takuji is the only... To be fair, Takuji doesn't really have much relevance whatsoever. It's just the Lovecraftian beings that she was able to see that did. It's just interesting how little she cares. And, I mean, I suppose she will die for Kotomi. She will never... Well, I mean, then again, I mean, she's dying for Kotomi. Look at this guy who, obviously, he is in the same... He's like on the same side of the coin as Yukito. The only thing is, obviously, he has a very different way of believing, and he's not sane like Yukito is. But Kotomi is the one who has held her back from Yukito, so obviously that means that Takuji's probably trying to get Kotomi so that, if anything, ironically, he can have Yukito to himself, and I don't know what he would do, but yeah. I really do wonder what Takuji and Yukito would do. Well, what he would want to tell him. Why does he admire him so much?
ついの空に至るつもりかい？
いいえ、飛び降りて死ぬつもりです。
Isn't that interesting? She's so fucking honest with herself, and that's what's so evil about this. It's just always that thought of the fact that you know the fact that you're deluded, and you, well, not deluded, you know how extreme what you're doing is and how you will never ever be able to get back, and that just furtherly intensifies your desire to do it more so.
君にも次の空は見えているのだろう？
No,
はい、見えてます。
that's a lie.
なのに目の前のものを信じずに過去の因習を信じるんだ。
ついでにこの下で血だらけで倒れている人間も見えますから。
Yeah, they haven't been returned. Well, their souls have been, maybe. That's how he would justify it.
しかも雑に飛び降りさせたから人がクッションになって死んでないやつが結
Oh
構い
my
ますよ。
god.
あれ
Well, if they are alive, they are in the biggest and most intense pain that they've ever had in their lives.
あれはすでに抜け殻だよ。動いていようが単なる反応に過ぎない。
Yeah, isn't it interesting? We have Takuji and his unreasonable means of explaining his worldview.
どっちでもいいんでとりあえず死にます。
She doesn't even care. She's not like, I don't know, for example, Tomo-sana just totally commenting on the fact that Takuji's deluded. No, she doesn't give a shit. She really, really doesn't.
そっか。僕も君が何を選ぶかなんて
Yeah. And let's be honest, the only reason Yasuko betrayed Takuji was because she came here as a means of being able to get Kotomi to herself. If anything, I find it interesting that there's such a disinterested relationship and there's no... I don't know, maybe there's no feelings of thankfulness to Takuji for doing this cult so that Yasuko could have a chance to connect with Kotomi in ways that she never has before. Obviously, I mean emotionally, not what she did. But no, there's nothing, no.
そうですね。私も安心しました。
And I think it's just so cruel that you have so many other people who have suicided because of delusions, which is even more cruel. But then somebody else who is using that opportunity as a result, as a means of suiciding herself. And I mean, my God, you have Kiyoshi in the world. You have such a loving brother. And you just, if anything, she's so sociopathic that she can't live herself. It's not a struggle that she wants to go through, so she just kills herself. But then again, I mean, she has gone through a ridiculous amount of pain, so I can't really blame her that much.
マミやタクジが私が思っている通りの人間。
Oh, shit.
マミやタクジが私が思っている通りの人間で。
Oh, dead.
思っている通り。君程度が僕の何かを分かったつもりでいるのかい？
Of your caliber.
あなたは人を愛することができない。私はその感情をよく知っている。だって私自身が
This is
そうであ
gonna
った
be
のだから。
interesting.
救世主なのだからもちろん愛ぐらい知っているさ。ただ誰か個人を愛することなどないということだよ。
いいえ、あなたは愛を知らない。
Isn't that so funny to think about the fact that Takuji has his worldviews, and then you have Yasuko just so roughly and easily disproving it.
なぜならば愛を恐れているから。
That's interesting. And what a direct contrast to Takuji's demeanor as well.
愛を僕が恐れている？何を言っているんだ。なぜ
Have you gone mad? Says Takuji. Because maybe they'll...
愛
What?
は暴力的ですから。心をわしづかみにされますから。それこそ道理なんて通じませんからね。
I can totally see that. I mean, just imagine somebody who loves one for, I don't know, let's say a long love, and then it goes because somebody dies, and then, or maybe the love dies, and, I don't know, somebody cheats. But basically, somebody cheats on another person, but basically love is always going to be a significant thing in somebody's life, and it's always going to remain a memory. Obviously, some will have different levels of impact than others. Some loves, like for example, don't know, like a week-long romance is going to have a different impact to, don't know, a 10-year-long romance. But yeah, it will always be a memory. Some will be forgotten, but most persist. Well, true love will persist. You can't exactly get true love within a week. Maybe you could feel true love within, don't know, like a year, and then it could go downhill afterwards. But what is necessarily the definition of true love, if anything? Well, I suppose it's just when a feeling that sounds as cursed as this is as blessed, really. Yeah, and it's just interesting to think about the fact that Yasuko has a very... I mean, even in normal circumstances, things like these can be applied, but she has a very violent and cruel view of it, but that's just because of how she's, well, how, I think just how her childhood has caused her to behave. That's why she feels. Obviously, that means that she's never been loved herself, and she's always had to live in a sort of fight or flight way, really. She's had to do so much just to stay alive. So, what I'm trying to say is, she's never been shown love, and she's used to cruel conditions. And she's used to being very unhappy. She just doesn't know what something filled with happiness would be. I mean, even an emotion that is experienced by normal people as something that is the most happy thing in their lives. Yeah, also the most sad thing is just told with such a destructive tone from Yasuko. Sorry, that I was going on tangents when saying that point, but I hope I communicated what I was saying in the end there. It feels like I was just saying nonsense for the first 10 seconds and then I finally got there. It varies. It has a shape that varies from person to person.
Takuji-kunはちゃんと愛を知っているよ。愛を知っているから救世主なんだよ。
Interesting. This doesn't sound very genuine. Yeah, sounds a bit neutral, doesn't it?
耳元で不気味な声出すな、化け物。化け物とかひどい。リルルは魔法少女なんだよ。あなたとマミやタクジは愛で結ばれているのですか?
Yeah, but isn't it? Oh, I get what she's doing here, because love is a combination of a curse from the most sociopathic, dangerous, violent emotions that causes a blessing that, if anything, nullifies all of those emotions I just mentioned. But with Takuji, it's just a blessing. It's just something that is really, really perfect. And that's why it's fake. Is that what Yasuko's trying to say? I bet you anything. Wait, so what's the opposite of the conceptual world? Like the physical world? Wait, let me just search this up. Or maybe the materialistic world? I don't know. Oh wait, hang on a second. So the conceptual world versus the real world. Right. Yeah, I suppose so. Conceptual world is more the world within your head and more the one that is made by the mind, whereas physical... So conceptual world is internal environment, and then physical world is your external environment that then influences your internal environment, I suppose. That's interesting though, so you don't have love for the things outside that exist. To be fair, how can you have love for just one world? Because surely... No, that would imply that the entirety of Riruru is just in his head. But it's not. Because if you only... Let's say you only had love for the physical world. You only had love for what people look like and, I suppose, their forms and everything outside of you. And you had no love for the emotions. Maybe that's... Oh god. You could say that you love somebody only... You quote-unquote love somebody only for their body then. Because you don't care about their mental thoughts. You just care about what's in the external environment, let's say. But I suppose you could say here... You care about the mind. But you don't care about anything outside the mind. So that obviously questions how real Rirudu is. But then again, it kind of makes sense considering the Lovecraftian nature of these beings.
それ観念の中だけの化け物なんですか？
Yeah.
だったら私の脳にまで入ってくるのやめてもらえません？いいよーだ。君とは話にならないからね。
リルルちゃんとそれほど会話ができるとは少し驚いた。
Wrong place, wrong time. It's not even an impressive accomplishment.
これから死のうとしてるのに、あんな能天気なアニメ声で話しかけられてこっちがびっくりしますよ。
Seriously, yeah. So what does she mean by happy-go-lucky? I've heard of that slang before. Oh, right, that's funny. Cheerfully unconcerned about the future, that's what it means. That's actually quite fitting, I like that.
さて、私は死にますが、あなたはこの後どこに行くのですか？
Okay, interesting.
そこはどこなんですか？
それを君に説明しても理解はできないさ。
Could you understand it if you explained it to yourself? Well, no. Well, yeah, you could, but is it something that you can understand without inventing things? Inventing a scenario?
そこに行ってもあなたは変わらないでしょう。
Even if he was under immense drugs that change him, he wouldn't change, I don't think.
当たり前さ。僕は救世主。完成されたものだからね。
完成されたものは人を愛することも理解もできない。
That's really, really well put. I like that. Yeah, you used your opportunity. Oh my god.
対の空を越えて、さらに越えて、さらに越えて、あなたがあらゆる世界に間宮拓司として生まれようが、あなたは決して愛を知ることはない。いかなる世界でもあなたは愛を知らないで、ここから何度も飛び降りる。
飛び降りるわけではない。しかも
Isn't that funny?
なんだ。
さあ、わかりませんよ。化け物に話しかけられたせいなのか、この異次元みたいな空の下だからか知りませんが。
I don't know why I haven't mentioned this yet, but this CG, the sky in this CG, it looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. They did an amazing job drawing this. I must say I don't like the art style for Tsui no Sora much, but things like these, they're done very well. I love the detail of the moon as well. That's amazing. And I like how big the moon is as well. We're right under it. Well, Takuji is.
そんな風に思いました。
Yeah, so beautiful that it's as if it looks otherworldly. It's funny, that reoccurring thought of obviously everything that's happened with Yasuko and Kotomi and the realization she's been able to have from it. And then, I don't know, just like her thinking as if this here is a continuation of said events that have happened. Isn't that funny, that line I've highlighted as well?
So これだけは言えますね。お前は何度ここに立っても愛を知ることはないだろう。 お前はついぞ愛を知らずここに立ち続ける。
I find it interesting to think about the fact that love has been the thing that has driven her to suicide, because even though it is... Okay, I suppose the blessing is for Kotomi to have accepted Yasuko. But look at all of the torture, the rejection, the jealousy that she has gone through for that one moment. I mean, how much do you have to exaggerate the importance of people like these and events like these? What are you really getting from this? Okay, sure, you're getting acceptance, but... and you're getting understanding that... I suppose it hits more because it's a female rather than a man, and obviously she has very bad history with men, so that could be a good reason, but then again, Kiyoshi understands her for who she is. It's just, so why is it so special with Kotomi? I suppose because of her admiration. She doesn't really admire Kiyoshi whatsoever. But what I'm trying to say, is that worth all of this? Is this a good thing, if anything? I mean, look at how knowing love has totally destroyed her life. I mean, okay, I'm sorry, her life was destroyed already. But then you can kind of rethink this, because love gave her a purpose in life and a purpose to live, but to what extent is that purpose something that is right and healthy as well? This is the most unhealthy desire possible. You say that love is something that is really, really illogical, and it's something that should not have any sense of realism, but is that you just trying to justify how much unreasonable pain you have gone through just for said love? That's kind of what I feel. I just think it's very interesting how this happens. Oh wow, what a beautiful image. It's as if I don't really know what these are meant to represent. Maybe we'll get a description. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can definitely see the total indication of a death wish there. My God. It's interesting, if anything, it kind of gives me the impression of you have a feeling of love, and you have, but to what extent is it love? And is the word love just used as a means of justifying trauma and a coping mechanism for said trauma? Is this really love? Okay, let's just assume it is love. This love has given her a purpose, and she just realises how much better she is than shitty beings like Takuji, who will never know love and who will only know to be feared upon. I suppose they are kind of contradictory in a way, because they are both they are both human beings who they rule by others fearing them. So obviously, for somebody to know love, but at the same time, even though they have the same sort of way of getting people to fall into their trap and being controlled by them, Kotomi knows love, Takuji doesn't. Not really much more to that, but anyway. Oh wait, I misinterpreted that. I agree. I just think it's so sick that with people like Yasuko, I mean, look at how horrible and tough and just, in general, soul-destroying a life like this must be. And the fact that she can only gain honesty and she can only gain peace in ending something that is just too sad to continue, really. So sad. This seems familiar. It's really quite scary. Or unsettling. So this is the ending now. Oh wow, so we're getting more text. Is this Kiyoshi? Oh my god. Oh, that's horrible. I never really thought about that before. Yeah. It's just... There's a lot of rejection in this story. We have Yasuko feeling she's not good enough for Kotomi, and then Kiyoshi feeling she's not good enough for Yasuko. That's so cruel. Good for you, yeah. Isn't that honesty interesting? Oh, good for you for saying that. Yeah. Oh shit, what now? Oh. Oh wow, there we go. I don't know, I hated that just there. I was kind of, because we got jump scared after Zakuro had suicided in the previous chapter, I was just subconsciously expecting something, and I was always having that on my mind just at the end there, that we were going to see some sort of disgusted corpse. I suppose you feel honesty in a world of evil and tragedy and just in general misfortune. You feel honesty. But then, in the world, in the cruel, cruel world, this is the form of your honesty, and then just shows a picture of Yasuko, completely mutilated, her head just scattered in 40 directions. I don't know. That was a really good ending, if anything. I think Yasuko's personality, it's so confusing, but that's why I love it, and it is so multifaceted. There's so many things that change it, and I just love how she's developed, and I really find it interesting how, if anything, you have you have the beginning, which shows all of the cursed feelings of her love. And obviously, for example, the psychopathy, the desire to keep Kotomi to herself, the recklessness. But then you have how it fulfills you in the end. And this is completely one-sided. This is completely ridiculous. This love is so not reciprocated. But, I mean, obviously, Kotomi showed Yasuko that she understood her. But, I mean, oh my god, this is going to be exciting. Can I just mention that? Takuji's chapter and an ending here, I'd assume. But, yeah, I mean, it's very, very odd. It really is. I enjoyed this chapter, I really did. I thought it was a very good chapter, and I think it's definitely my favourite chapter in the visual novel so far. I think it was written very well. And, if anything, I'm really excited to see just how everything wraps up, and especially Takuji's chapter as well. I wonder how it's going to compare to It's My Own Invention. That's the funny thing about this chapter. All of these chapters, they've had chapters that we could just ask the question of how similar are they going to be to the equivalent in Tsubaki. But it's not really been the case with Yasuko's chapter, and I like that. It feels like a totally new experience. And I love everything that Yasuko was doing with Takuji at the end, and the contradictions as well. Those were really nicely done. And, yeah, just in general, something we've not really seen before. Somebody using Takuji's suicide pact as a means of genuinely doing said suicide. So, what I want to do now is, I just want to begin this chapter. Just read the opening and then I'll go, because I don't have too much time. Oh my god. It's a plus. So what is going to happen here? How are we going to begin? Also, July the 13th. That was not what I was expecting. That's not when I was expecting him to begin. But then again, I mean, how is Takuji actually going to become the saviour here? Because he's somebody who's very shy here. So, how is it going to be the case that he gains these powers? And then my answer is Ryudu. That's my guess, but I don't know. That's weird. Oh, God. Yeah. Isn't that sad? You can just see such a victim of bullying here. You can only reason things with malicious intent. And you can see the anger in his thoughts as well. But why? Aren't you a worm, surely? If you are at the mercy of all of these people's staring and talk. God, isn't that awful? I mean, you actually have to check your desk just to see whether somebody has got a trap. He doesn't realise the fact that Zakudo's suicide, and I wonder how he's going to react. He feels a bit normal here. He really does feel normal. Surprisingly normal. Oh. I just wonder why they're staring at him like this, and why all conversation with Zakudor regarding Zakudor is as if it stopped. Good. Yeah. God. Yeah. Isn't that paranoia interesting? It's brutally honest, I see that. It's interesting, all of this chattering text, it just makes it feel as if it's so much crazy than it actually is. And that's also another interesting thing, the fact that he interprets this as chattering, and yet at the same time he's not even listening to what they are saying. He can recognize the fact that it's chatter, he's just genuinely not listening to the words they are saying. Oh god, yeah, you just think of the worst conclusions, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, who's not done this? Who's been bullied? Let's be honest. I'm not really the most proud to admit it, but I'm prone to this a lot. You just think the most violent thoughts to the people who you don't like. Okay, I don't know if I should censor what is on here. What is Lingchi? It's not Manchuria. Oh god, death by 1,000 cuts. Torture and execution used in China from roughly 900 until it was banned in 1905. Jesus Christ. Oh my fucking god. Criminals were cut apart piece by piece before they died. Fucking hell, man. Isn't that a bit much? Okay, I get that these people were bullying you, but I don't think that justifies fucking dismemberment. Oh yeah. I left out a key detail while they are alive. God, you can properly see how damaged he is here. And it's interesting to think about the fact that it doesn't matter that Takuji's not a DID person, he's not schizophrenic at all, and yet at the same time he still has stuff like this happen. It's just interesting how those thoughts, he doesn't necessarily have to be a schizo to have them. I'm just interested in how this differs, to be honest. Yeah, because I mean, you think this, but you can't even say a word to another person. You really think you'd have the drive? But then, obviously, since he has the potential to become Kyusei Shu-sama, when he has the potential to become Savior, maybe. I don't know. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, so it's the most severe punishment. I can't believe that existed until the early 19th century. I mean, 20th. If that shows how bad human rights are, I don't even know what... If that doesn't, I don't know what does. It's interesting, that little indication of superiority he feels on himself. He tries to use cases where people have done treason to world leaders, people who have authority, whereas he is the least powerful and most hopeless person, if anything. But then again, I mean, we are all the masters of our own thoughts and worldviews, really. We only live this world. We're the most important person of our world, so maybe he thinks like that. Which I don't blame him, I do. But, yeah. It's a bit sick, but okay. Those who dared even look at him funny. What if the Emperor had paranoia? Yeah, of course he has to go into the very intricate detail. Who's going to do this? I bet you won't. Yeah, you will enjoy the feeling of them being totally mutilated. Will you do it yourself? No. Okay then. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Don't make me feel sick, please. I have to go to bed right after this, can I just mention? Oh my fucking god. Oh god! God! Oh god! No. Okay. These are just words on the screen. They do not translate to pictures in my mind. Okay. I can't imagine this. I'm starting to see straight lines as diagonal lines. That's how I know I'm going too far with imagining this. Wait. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, Jesus Christ. How long is this?
Mamiya-kun.
Okay, well, I skipped to something really interesting. Also, Subahibi Ost. Okay, this is not that long. What? A psychopath are you? I mean, Jesus Christ. If this doesn't show that he has potential to become the saviour and lead a cult as sick as the one he did, what does? Oh my god! Oh, you are a sadistic little sick shit. Isn't it interesting? I mean, this is... I'm not even going to say that this is based on a real world example. I'm not even going to emphasise just how sick that is, but... It's interesting, this is like Zakuro in a way. In Tsubahibi, not this Sakuro. This Sakuro is more... Well, she's just more somebody who goes along with life and curses every single part of it. Tsubahibi's Zakuro is more somebody who is so innocent and she's just responding to stress by having a lack of direction and view in life, and obviously crying as well. Whereas you have these people, they respond to their bullying by creating scenarios in their... No, they are weak, they are worms, they are the least powerful, so in their heads, they create scenarios where they are the strongest, where they can rule and be superior. Yeah, that's interesting, and look at that. I love that line. Yeah, okay, it doesn't justify any of what you've just done, if you ever did something like this, which I'm very happy he doesn't, my god. Well, to be fair, Kotomi does exist. I wonder if we're ever going to get a substitute for the Wakatsuki Kagami scene. Maybe we will, who knows. Oh my fucking god, no! Oh, Jesus. Right. Yeah, so you're... Jesus fucking Christ. Isn't it interesting that selective hearing? He only hears things when he wants to. Everything else is just irrelevant.
うちの学校で昨日自殺あったんでしょ？そうそう、警察とかも来たらしいよ。やっぱりうちの生徒なの？うちの生徒も何もこのクラスの高島さんらしいよ。高島さん？はあ
God, and it's just so interesting when you see the inner workings of Takuji's mind, and then you hear his outside persona.
ごめんなさい。
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, my god. The amount of fear.
間宮くんだったよね。
I'll read this tomorrow. Page 5. Final page. Yeah. That was actually really beneficial, if you ask me, just to see how similar Takuji here is to Tsubahibi's Takuji, but obviously there's no DID involved, he's just Takuji. Oh my god, that was really quite sick. If anything, I think that was even worse than the French torture method with horses that was mentioned in Tsubahibi. I think it's just because it was more of a description and it was more visual. If anybody ever tells me that gore in a VN has to be... No, if gore has to be visual, I mean, I would never want to show something like this, but it would be so funny just showing something like this. It really proves that it does not have to be visual to be completely distasteful and disgusting. Anyway, yeah, an interesting little beginning, and it was just so interesting hearing where you had Takuji being really afraid of the bullies staring at him, and then you had him taking out that stress, and obviously in a scenario where he is the one above and everybody, and the roles are reversed, but then you just see all of that totally crumble. And he pretends to be the emperor, he pretends to be the one above all of them, but then obviously when he hears something, well, when he's stared at, he is so terrified of these people that he fantasizes ruling over that it's the case that he goes back to his really, really terrified phase. Oh, I like it. I like it so far. Dude, you've only read like 10 minutes of it, but okay. Anyway, yeah, see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be quite an exciting chapter, this. And it's going to be really, really cool to see how Zakuro and Takuji's bond is going to differ. And maybe it will have some links to looking glass insects. I don't know. See you guys then.